Dear students, in today's video lecture, we'll study how to solve one-dimensional heat equation with given boundary conditions and initial conditions. So, as you know, one-dimensional heat equation is represented by this partial differential equation del u by del t is equal to c square del square u by del x square, where this x represents the position and t means time and u is temperature. U is a function of x and t. So here I have taken an example for you to show that how to solve one-dimensional heat equation. Find the solution of the differential equation this. So this is heat equation with the initial conditions. So there are three initial conditions. So in different problems, initial and boundary conditions may be different, but here in this example, these are the boundary condition. The first condition is u does not tend to infinity as t tends to infinity. This means what? That as t increases, u is not increasing. It means u is finite. The second is del u by del x is 0 for x is equal to 0 and L, and the third condition is u is Lx minus x square when t is 0. X is between 0 and L, it means the length of the rod is L. Now let's start the solution. So the one-dimensional heat equation is this, where uxt is the temperature of uniform bar. Uniform bar means cross section. The bar is uniformly same from one end to another end. That means cross section is constant and it is of length L. The bar is of length L. Now here I have written all the three conditions. So we solve this problem by method of separation of variable. So u is a function of xt. So we write u is the product of two function. One is a function of x and another function is a function of t. And we assume this be the solution of the given partial differential equation. So it means now this u must satisfy the given partial differential equation. So for the left hand side of the given partial differential equation, we need del u by del t. So del u by del t is capital X del dt by dt, because t involves only one variable. So in this while differentiating this part, the partial derivative will be converted into ordinary differentiation. Similarly, del square u by del x square is t del square x by del x square. Now we use all the three, u, del u by del t and del square u by del x square in the given partial differential equation, and we get x dt by dt, d capital T by d small t is equal to c square capital T d square x by dx square. Now take all the terms, the left hand side, we bring all the terms of t on the left hand side and the terms involving x on the right hand side, and equate this to some constant lambda. Now we have two ordinary differential equations. These are the two ordinary differential equations. Now because lambda is constant, so again as we have already discussed in wave equation, in the same way there are the three cases for the value of lambda. This constant lambda may be greater than 0, it may be equal to 0 or less than 0, it may be positive, 0 or negative. So first we assume if the constant lambda is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means the lambda can be expressed as the square of some real number, where this real number k is not equal to 0. So we write in place of lambda we use k square. So the differential equations from 2 reduces to these two differential equations. In place of lambda I have written k square. So now we solve both the ordinary differential equations. Now you can see both the ordinary differential equations are linear differential equations with constant coefficients. So these are the solutions, because this auxiliary equation will be d square minus k square is equal to 0, and the two values of d are plus minus k. So this is the complementary function, and the right hand side is 0, means particular integral is 0 for this differential equation. So x is only this, and this is the value of t, solution of this differential equation, and u is the product of x and t. So here I have multiplied both capital X and this is capital T. So secondly, we assume if lambda is equal to 0, then if lambda is equal to 0, then the differential equation from equation number 2 reduces to these two differential equations. Now again we find the solutions by integrating both the differential equations. We get capital X is nothing but ax plus b, and t is nothing but only constant c, where a, b, c, all the three are arbitrary constants. So again u, in this particularly in this second case, u can be expressed as the product of capital X and capital T. Now the third case, if lambda is less than 0, it means the lambda is negative. So lambda can be expressed as negative of some positive number. So positive number means some k square for some real number k, where k is not equal to 0. Now the equation 2, the differential equations from equation 2 becomes these two differential equations. Now again the auxiliary equation, again both are linear differential equation with constant coefficients. So the auxiliary equation from this differential equation, we get d square plus k square is equal to 0, and there are two values of d, plus minus iota k, both are imaginary. So this will be the complementary function. Again the right hand side is 0 here, so the particular integral part is 0. So x is this, and from this differential equation we get t is nothing but this, and u is the product of again capital X, this is capital X and this is capital T. Okay. Now you have got three solutions from the three cases. Now we have to choose those solutions which is or are suitable. It means out of these three solutions, it is quite possible that two are suitable for the problem, or only one of the solution is suitable for the problem. So that's why I have written which is, or if there are more than one, then which are suitable with the physical nature of the problem. That is, the physical nature of the problem means the temperature uxt should not increase with the increase of time. It means as t increases, then the temperature cannot be infinity, and which is one of the boundary condition. So the solution, you can see in case 1, the solution which we have got, that does not satisfy this condition, because as t tends to infinity, e raised to the power c square k square t, and this will become infinity. So thus case 1 is rejected. So it means what? The solution which we have got in case 1, that cannot be acceptable. So case 1 is rejected, as in the solution of case 1 u tends to infinity as t tends to infinity. But in both the solutions of case 1 and case 3, this condition is satisfied. In both you can see in the solution of the first case and in the solution of the third case, as t tends to infinity, u is not going towards infinity. So it means both the solutions are considerable. So here we have to consider both the solutions, solution of case 1 and solution of case 3. But if you remember, in the wave equation, we consider only the one solution was considerable. The 2 was rejected. But now the 2 solutions are considerable. So first we take case 3. From case 3, we got this solution. Now we use the initial condition. Initial condition, this is one of the initial condition. One of the initial condition. So we use this del u by del x when x is equal to 0 is 0. So here we have differentiated this u with respect to x and put x is equal to 0. When we put x is equal to 0, this part will become 0. We are left with bk e raised to the power minus c square k square t is equal to 0. And this exponential part can never be 0. So this will give us b is 0. Now we substitute b is equal to 0 here. So this solution 2 reduces to this. Now again we use another condition, another boundary condition, del u by del x at x is equal to L is 0. So again we differentiate this with respect to k and put x is equal to L and equate this to 0. So when we put x is equal to L, we get this. Again exponential can never be 0. A is not equal to 0 because b is already 0. If a is also 0, if we assume a to be 0, then the whole solution will become 0. So this is not possible. So that's why a is non-zero. This exponential part is non-zero. So it means what? Sin k L must be 0. So the value of k is nothing but n pi by L, where n is 1, 2, 3, all natural numbers. Now substitute this value of k in the solution 3, and now this 3, the solution 3 reduces to this. Here I have substituted the value of k. Okay. Now for n is equal to 1, we have a different solution. For n is equal to 2, we have another solution. So we sum up all these solutions because the addition of solution is also a solution. And here I have written, instead of a, I have written here an. As for different value of n, we have different constants, or the constants may be same also. Now this is the solution in case 3. Now again we start from the solution of case 1. So this is the solution of case 1. When we multiply this by c, so we are writing here the new constant a dash and b dash. A dash is nothing but ac and b dash is nothing but bc. So now we use this initial condition. So del u by del x at x is equal to 0 is 0. So this will give us, when we differentiate this with respect to x, so we have a dash. So a dash is equal to 0 means the one of the constant is 0. Now we substitute a dash is equal to 0 here. So uxt reduces to b dash only. Now so this is the solution in case 1, and this is the solution. We got this solution from case 3. Both are the solutions. Now from 4 and 5, the general solutions of the given heat equation is given by this. So this is the general solution, because we have taken the solution of case 1, and this is the solution of case this is case 3. Okay. Now we use the initial conditions. So this is one of the initial condition which is given in the question also. So now put t is equal to 0 in this u. Here t is equal to 0, then the value of u is nothing but this. So put t is equal to 0 in 6 and we get, this is u. When t is 0, this is u, this is given to us. And the right hand side is t is equal to 0 means this part will go this will become 1. So this 6 reduces to this. Now you can see this is a series, cosine series, half range cosine series, because x is here, x is less than equal to L and greater than equal to 0. So this is half range cosine series. So now we use the concept of half range Fourier series. So where b dash and an's are Fourier coefficients, so we calculate b dash. B dash can be calculated by this 1 by L 0 to L Lx minus L square integration of Lx minus x square dx. So after integrating we get b dash is nothing but L square by 6, and an's can be calculated using this 2 by L, and now this is, here we use the here we integrate this by parts. This has first function, this has second function. First function integration of second function 0 to L minus derivative of first function, this is derivative of first function, integration of second function. Now 0 to L, when L is equal to 0 this part is 0, and when x is equal to 0 again this is 0. So this term, this part will not be giving any contribution. So it is, now we have only this part, 2 by LL will be cancelled. So negative of 2 by n pi integration 0 to L, L minus 2x sine n pi x by L dx. Now again we assume this has first function, this has second function. So first function integration of second function minus derivative of first function integration of second function. So after doing all these things, finally we get, these are just simplification. So finally after doing all these simplification, finally you will get this is the value of an. Now if n is even, then this part is 0, so it means an is, sorry, if n is odd then it is 0, so it means when n is odd an is 0, and if n is even, this is 2, the value of this part is 2, so an is minus 4L square by n square pi square. So it means if wherever in the summation, and in the summation where n is from 1 to infinity, for odd values of n all the terms are 0, it means only those terms are left where n is even. So we take n is equal to 2m. Now substituting the value of b dash from 7 and an, the value of an from 8 in the general solution. So we get, here I have substituted the value of b dash and an. So now you have the required solution of the given heat equation. So one thing is to be noted here, because this is the first problem which I have taken for heat equation. So we have discussed here, I have discussed here all the 3 cases with you. But whenever you have the problem, the second case, you can avoid this second case, because second case is not considerable. The solution which we obtained from the second case is not considerable. So only the case 1 and case 3 should be discussed in every problem. And if you solve another problem of heat equation, then according to the initial and boundary condition of the problem, you will get the different values of the arbitrary constant b dash and an. But the condition that u is finite as t tends to infinity is always assumed in heat or diffusion problem, whether it is given or not. Now only one topic, that is solution of two-dimensional Laplace equation by method of separation of variable, is left in your syllabus. In the next lecture, we'll discuss that topic.